what is then left can go back to the respondent. Does the death of the respondent has any influence on that order? Think about the wording of the order. Fund, keep the money. Pay the maintenance until, according to the monthly order, until the child is self-supporting. Does the death of the respondent, is the death of the respondent mentioned in there? No. In other words, his death does not have influence on that court order. It states, why? The child needs money. The fact the child is not yet self-supporting, that money needs to keep on going to the child. Right?
It is sorry. But what if even though the child is not self-supporting yet, and there's going to be money that's going to be left in the father's estate, then the child, then the attorney has to be appointed to the child to claim on the father's estate. Maybe the child wants to study further and stuff like that. Do we do that?
But remember, the no future maintenance order has been made years before. So hence my question again, why would you meddle in this matter?
No, that's what I'm asking. So we then send them to an attorney to go and make the necessary application should the child wish to further his studies and to claim against the father's estate later.
Nothing precludes that child to claim from the father's estate. Obviously, it will have to be declared that there is future maintenance coming in terms of a certain court order at the time. But that is none of our problems. That is between the applicant and the estate. That is nothing with regards to us. The fact of the matter is that our order stands as it is and should be paid as it is. And then 9 times out of 10, the money in there is going to be used up until the time that there is nothing more. But then again, 9 times out of 10, our money isn't even enough until the time the child turns 18. Isn't that so? Very seldom have we got huge amounts of pension that where there's really money left afterwards to go back to the respondent. I've seen just about none of them. So I don't think that should be too much of a big concern to us. What I do think is that you need to, and as a rule, that your maintenance order should have an automatic escalation clause in if at all possible. Let 10% per year increase on the monthly maintenance. This will keep people coming back to the office for increases. It will make your influx less. And should the father die, there is that automatic 10% increase on the maintenance order that the master will have to comply with. So keep that in mind. It is quite important. Because should the mother feel that the maintenance, according to that court order, is not enough, even in case when there's a future maintenance order, she needs to apply from your court for an increase, and you need to call the respondent in a normal manner where that will then be, looked at in the inquiry stage. And an increased order can be made, and that increased order now needs to be served on the master to say, pay according to the new order. Now, but if the father is deceased, it's not possible, because he can't be called. Okay? However, I had a magistrate that said in best interest of the child, he is prepared to look at the needs of the child and the income of the mother, and accordingly up that maintenance order, even in the absence of the father. But I think to keep yourself from, landing in that peculiar situation, have the automatic escalation clause in your maintenance orders. Okay.
One speaks also to the situations where, like, initiation applies, because you might not have the escalation clause aspect there, but initiation applies maybe the next or the following year, and the mother might not be in a position to do this because the father is removed from the child's life, then what we do is we say, look, you know that this boy has to go through initiation. You're not going to be having money at the time because it's quite an expense. So from your family, how much is it that you guys are spending on this? The mother corroborates that indeed that is what it costs. We put it in there, the magistrate grants that order. The instruction to the master is that at that date, such and such amount will be paid to the mother extra in lieu of
If
initiation.
it's put into words, it's possible. Any further questions?
Out of my curiosity,
Oh.
in saying the money should be kept in the name of the respondent headmaster. And what if the respondent dies? Is it forming the estate already? Because
No, it stays there. Remember, it was placed there by the future maintenance order. Your future maintenance order says, fund, keep the money. Make monthly maintenance payments until the child is self-supported. Hence my question to you, is there anything in there with regards to the death of the respondent? No. No. Neither your future maintenance order nor your monthly maintenance order talks about what is to happen when the respondent dies. No. In other words, nothing is going to happen. In other words, the master should keep on paying out the money in terms of the monthly maintenance order. If you have different wording in your future maintenance order, which is a possibility, although we haven't got that guidance from a higher court. Anything else from the floor, especially with regards to future maintenance? Okay, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave because I have got a flight out to Joburg and then back to Pietermaritzburg. So I'm going to say goodbye and say thank you that you listened to us for the past couple of days.
Sorry,
Yes.
Stefan, I forgot to ask you. You said earlier you're gonna mail us your format.
Right.
When you started on future making,
What about that?
you're gonna mail us some documentation.
I can, no problem. If you want the documentation, because I think we got you all on a mail that came from Tuli at the beginning. I can just attach for you again the future maintenance documents, Romeo's, if I can put it that way, templates that I've drawn up. Maybe because you reminded me about something.
I wanna add yours to Advocate Reiter's folder, so I wanna keep that in my pocket,
Oh, no problem.
my loaded gun.
Understand that those are works in progress, then. There is additions that can be done. I sometimes forget about things. That's quite important. Like I told you, my section 8s should say, please send the bank statements under cover of a section 236 statements. My section 8 hasn't got that in, so please add that. As one talk and you work because the thing is, I use that now and then. Usually I instruct the investigator to say, please issue a section 8. And I forget always to say what is easy and what should be done, moreover to make things better. But that is the one thing that I prefer.
Is that now only for the banks when we do the section 8?
Yeah, because it's bank statements, yeah. But it's any accounting record. Remember, it is still as per the wording of section 236. I don't know what other accounting records will you have similar. I'm not sure, Dion. I've always only worked with bank statements under section 236.
We receive annuity from investment or
Financial
Oh, mutual send them, they can all give you.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll give you that.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Has been used.
So yeah, no problem. I will forward you the future maintenance documents. Work from there. You can just change it. That having been said, maybe just one last thing, and I did start off then when I started with future maintenance. Your history of non-compliance in the past of that respondent. People, please, you need to set that out very meticulously in that supporting affidavit of the applicant, which really is the J306, but the J306 is too limited. Ne? You can't just only have the J306 on the future. That's too little. Because you need to set out the bad payment behavior of the respondent. Remember, I started out by saying to you that number 3 on the application. And I said to you, then she said, okay, we got him to court and he made an order. And she said, no, but then he didn't pay, and 3 months later I had to come to court to say Peter garnish. And then he left job and we couldn't find him, and he got into arrears with 6 months. And then we found him again, and then we were able to attach, but we were only halfway paid with that, and then he didn't pay. And then we summoned him for criminal proceedings, and then he arrived and he said, here's the money, and the case was withdrawn. Hey, all of that should be in that supporting affidavit. Okay? Because if you just say there, he is in arrears with 500 rand maintenance, these funds are going to ask me, Stefani, as the High Court law for future maintenance talks about the anti-dissipation order. It is the law under which future maintenance has been, made for us to use. It is a civil thing. It is an anti-dissipation order. Anti-dissipation means that this person was using up his monies instead of paying maintenance. Now, that's what anti-dissipation means. And that is what that guy in Mungadi versus Beacon Sweets was doing. The lady said, he told me he's going to resign, and it's because I'm coming after him for maintenance. And he said to me, I'm resigning, I'm taking my pension, I will use it, you won't see a cent. There. So she is alleging that he is going to use that money and not pay maintenance. Anti-dissipate. Dissipate the money. So it's an order to stop that dissipating of the monies where she is trying to get some maintenance. Okay. So understand that that is where our order comes from. If you say, oh, he's in arrears with 500, the funds are going to ask me, where are your dissipating evidence? And you have that, but you have not put it in writing. So if you serve that, he's in arrears with 500, please give me the lump sum. They say to me, where's the evidence of the anti-dissipation that should support this dissipating? Where is it? And then I am standing there again with my mouth full of teeth because you didn't put it in the affidavit.
Interesting you mentioned that, because some funds under the area aspect of the order, because sometimes structural order in twofold to pay their arrears directly to the applicant and then the future maintenance to others. Then they will say, they want us to justify to them how this, it's very clear. Yours is to comply.
I understand, but if they come and argue that there's no evidence that this guy is trying to dissipate monies, and I know where they will do it. It's there where the two of them come to you and say, oh, he's going to resign, let's put some in the fund. Let's help them. There's no evidence of him being in a bad fire, and there's no anti-dissipating or dissipating evidence of dissipating his money. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to come and argue that because I'm dead in the water. So you should not be assisting, because at that stage, your question should be, madam, are you getting maintained? Yes, I am. Is he in arrears? No, he isn't. Sorry, madam, I cannot give you a form to fill in, hence you need to go away. I'm not an attorney that can sit with you two to assist you to draw up an agreement between the two of you, of which I can be part, that can be sent off to the fund for the future maintenance to be kept. You want to do that? There's an attorney's firm. If I meddle, they are going to rub me over the knuckles. That is not my job.
The maintenance you're talking about is a court order and not out of court agreement.
Yes, it is, but this court order is being paid. There is no evidence of the respondent dissipating or having a bad past with regards to payment. But they still come to you and they want a part of that monies of his pension to be put away for future maintenance.
The out of court agreement is not for the category.
Say again?
Out of court agreement, not for the category of maintenance order.
No, but there is a court order for maintenance payment.
I think I know what he's referring to.
He's asking something different.
Because in the amendment of the maintenance act, there is this portion or this subsection that refers to
Written and verbal agreements.
Firm, right?
So that verbal agreement applies to something else. That verbal agreement came about because of
So it's good that you're saying that, so that you can get it.
that verbal agreement is about the fact that A says, whenever there's a complaint that somebody who is supposed to be maintained is not being maintained. In other words, here comes the applicant. She says, my child needs maintenance. The respondent is not maintained. That falls in there. Or B says, when there is an order that needs to be met one way or another. So, C came about. It says, or when there is an agreement between parties with regards to maintaining. Now, what happened in this case is, an attorney and a respondent came to my office in Pietermaritzburg. And she said to me, my client here is working for, or was working for 8,000 rand a month. At wherever. Meanwhile, they put him on short time. He's now only working 3 days a week, and he's now getting only 6,000 rand. When he was working for 8,000 rand, him and the applicant had a verbal agreement outside of court that he will pay her 4,000 rand a month maintenance. He has now, with the evidence of the short time being there and his salary being, all evidence is there, on paper from the employer, no problem. He's gone to her with this to say, I cannot pay you 4,000 rand anymore.
8,000.
He's working for
Oh, sorry.
So he went to her and he says, I can no longer keep to that verbal agreement. And she said to him, I don't care. If you don't keep to that verbal agreement, I'm going to take you to civil court and sue you for the money. And that's what she did.
Yeah.
She went to civil court and she said, we had a verbal agreement, me and him, that on a monthly basis he will pay me 4,000 rand. He is in breach of that verbal agreement. So him and the attorney says to me, Miss Erasmus, senior maintenance prosecutor, help this guy. I said, sorry, I can't. A says, I can help you if you say you are not being maintained. That's not you. That's only an applicant. That's not a respondent. B says, I can help you if there is an order, but there is no order. There's only a verbal agreement. So hence my submission to the Law Reform Commission at the time to add the verbal agreement, because that then allows me to call both parties to court to say, look, there is a verbal agreement, but clearly there is no, you don't see eye to eye with regard. But it allows me to take an application from him to start the matter. I'm coming back to where I said to you this whole morning. You cannot act outside the boundaries of your duty. You're never higher than the law. It's irrelevant what the best interest of whoever is.
So, this was my.
Again, my hand means nothing.
I was already, it was here, mine was here. Maybe you're gonna add on what I'm saying, because I think me and you are thinking the same. My interpretation of C was, not knowing that it was from an idea. So they have this agreement where they are paid, right? In most cases, for
No, that's not an agreement, it's an order,
No, I mean in terms of the verbal agreement. Of it.
right?
or C's application. So he gives money, something arises where he maybe for that month didn't give because she denied him access, these silly reasons.
It's the same facts than mine.
So when it now comes to us, let's say my purpose is to serve him, and he mentions this to me, then I do see in this regard to say that, look, let us confirm your verbal agreement. Let us reduce it to writing in
No,
terms
but
of
you don't need to
consent.
confirm him of anything. If she complains and you issue a regulation 3 or a summons or a subpoena for him, you don't need to convince him of anything. But
No.
okay, it will help to
reduce it to
yeah, and also to alleviate the animosity in the case. True. In that sense, it will. Yeah, but it does not apply. Because in that case, she's well within her rights to say, I'm applying for maintenance because he's not maintaining. I want 7,000 rand and he's only paying 5.
So would you prosecute on that basis?
No, you can't prosecute. Prosecution is clear. Section 31 says there must be an order. Section 26 says there must be an order. I can never enforce an agreement. That I can't.
So I'm going to give it to Donnie and then I'll have a follow-up.
It's here.
Please wait. I've been silent for 3 days. I need your opinion, and I'm going to put the SPP Western Cape on the spot now.
Yeah,
Because he said I'm right.
yeah.
Do it.
What?
I did a case in Bishop Laver's court.
Now
where
he's taking over your chair.
I'm still speaking. With all due
You're
respect,
putting me on the spot, so let me speak.
respond when I'm done.
Okay.
I'm going to put him on the spot. With all due respect, because he loves challenging.
Yeah.
Because he said I'm right first,
Yeah,
and I've been doing it.
yeah,
He didn't win with my prosecutor,
yeah,
but I'm attached. He said I'm right.
yeah,
In the absence of a court order signed by a magistrate.
yeah,
If this lady comes to my office, because I told the clerk, take it.
yeah,
I told my maintenance officer, you will. SPP Western Cape said, yes, you may. There's a written agreement between two parties up in 2009.
Yeah.
It's not court ordered by a
Yeah.
magistrate.
yeah.
We've taken it. I've not gone to Mr. Bingle's side.
Hmm.
I will not go to the control prosecutor. I won't waste my time on it.
You will have, so you attaching from an agreement, that's what you say.
Yeah.
I am.
Okay? Now let's let Dion explain.
Because he said I may.
I hear you.
I did a case in Bishop Laver's court where I did a section 31, I read with the provisions of section 6. Because I wanted to change, or I wanted to create law by saying that in terms of section 31, if there's a verbal agreement and the accused had the means to pay, and there was only a verbal agreement, then I read it with the provisions of section 31(1), I read with the provisions of section 6. Did the whole case and all of it, the magistrate then convicted the accused, but then he converted. Then I said, okay, if we convert it, then we must do it in terms of Abrams versus Abrams. Then he didn't want to. He says, no, he doesn't have time to be doing it. So I couldn't send the thing on a review on appeal to the High Court because I wanted the High Court to review the proceedings based on the fact that I put that section 31 read with the provisions of section 6 in my charge sheet.
So he was convicted in terms of section 31,
subsection 1.
of an agreement.
Yeah, but
Well, you can't do that, Dion, with
I
respect,
did
because
it.
section 31 is clear. It says the non-payment of a court order.
Yeah, I know
You
the
can never
order.
change any law written as it is. You're going to
Yeah.
have to lobby that the Maintenance Act be amended.
Yes, now that's what I wanted to do with.
Yeah.
I spoke to Tulari, and Tulari said,
Yeah.
all right, bring the case to me, and
Yeah.
then we can do it from there.
Yeah.
But because of section 41 not being complied with properly,
You then never went through.
I decided
I
not to
understand.
take it that way.
Now,
But
unfortunately, I'm going to stand with what I'm saying. Section 31 is very clear, or even section 26. It says whenever a court order has not been complied with. I'm back to interpretation of statutes that says you cannot add anything or take anything away from a section or a phrase of that.
Question. Taking prosecution out of the victim. I took money from this guy's bank account.
Yeah, but stop,
Am
section
I in trouble?
26. Section 26, you have to have a court order. It doesn't talk about
But it's still a civil process. It's a civil process.
Add on to my observation in terms of what you say. The respondent, who is based at factory in PE, who was subpoenaed by Cape Town Magistrates Court, and his documents were served on his HR. He worked various shifts. He received the documents late. He informed the court that he received the documents late. He wasn't able to make that court date. When he inquired into the matter, they said it's for this applicant, etc. He said, look, this matter was addressed already at the New Brighton court, where an eternity test was conducted under section 10 or 6 whatever, and it was confirmed that he's not the father. And then he informed the maintenance officer that, look, I'm not the father.
Yeah.
We've already done this case in 2017. I looked at this and I said, oh. Geraldine sent me this thing. Geraldine, please go speak to your MO. Tell him that I'm looking at the case file that started with us.
and he's not the
Here's the
father.
negative result. I'm attaching it, please. What the MO did was he applied for an interdict on the guy's bank account and they froze his Capitec account.
Yeah.
So I asked Geraldine, can you please ask the MO, where did you find legal basis here to attach, to interdict the bank? Because the respondent informed him that he is not the father. Moreover, there's no court order.
Yeah.
So she came back to me and she said to me that the maintenance officer says that he's aware of the negative paternity result.
That's
However,
even worse.
yes, he said, however, he's proceeding, the respondent must come to Cape Town. I said, look, here is the document that shows this man is not the father of the child.
Yeah.
Be that as it may, you don't have a court order.
Yeah.
How did you get the magistrate to sign this interdict?
Yeah.
It was a little bit of back and forth. I said to him, I am only but a friend to your court. I am also a MO at my office, and I'm a senior investigator. Seasoned one at that.
Yeah.
Be careful with what you are doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did this to protect my colleague,
Yeah.
Ms. Williams, because I didn't want her to be a party to this
Civil
civil
claim.
proceedings.
Yeah.
It filtered through the couple of days of fighting this guy. So I had to tell the respondent, listen, just bear with me. Let me try and assist you because this man wanted to go to an attorney and you
I would
all know what.
have said to him, go to the attorney this
So
afternoon.
I'm not
Everybody
sure
at that court.
if his direction that he took with it was maybe perhaps from a misinterpretation
Yeah.
Keep
of
to the
something
law.
that Dolly is mentioning, you know.
Yeah.
So if perhaps you could just clarify
Is
with
that
the-
case still on now?
So what happened was, I said to this respondent, look, I want to avoid a situation where this applicant runs from magistrate's court to magistrate's court after various times.
Yeah.
Please do me a favor, avail yourself. But I'm going to make it clear to the maintenance officer that he has to book your flight or your bus, accommodate you, do
You know,
everything
there's
in the
no
one
way
day.
I will be party to that. No way. Because this is now prolonging a process that should have
Just
just died. In that instance, if it was brought to my attention, I would have chatted with Dion and I would have said to him, listen, you better get that guy to go to the magistrate to have that thing withdrawn because he's on thin ice.
Yeah.
And for that respondent, I would have said, sue the state. Because that is my duty.
Yeah.
My duty is not here to make sure that you guys are not being sued. My duty is to make sure that you know what the law is. And that's what I've tried to do the past couple of days. I am going to love you and leave you because I'm going to miss my plane. Please, Dion will take further questions should there be. Your food should be ready in 25 minutes and then please drive safely. Thank you for listening to me. You know we are there for you. Okay. Yes, sir.
No question, it's only a statement. No, it's contracted, like I said, because you must read. You guys know Advocate John Reiter sends us emails. We are all busy. Please listen to me.
True.
There is questions since the Indaba, which was in Indaba, it was a work project. The questions that was posed in Bloemfontein, the questions that was posed here since I've been for 3 days, has been answered via your emails if only you guys read your emails. There would have been no need for you guys to ask. I'm not being judgmental. Don't get me wrong. Clayton answered a lot of the stuff. Read Advocate Writer's essays. You'll get all the answers. I'm not being judgmental. Don't get me wrong, brother. I want to. It's a pity this room is so small. Asif has been in the straight with me. I'm gonna call him out now. He asked a stupid question. Now I'm being
Okay,
real
let me
honest.
go.
I'm not being your email. I'm telling you. Read your email. Read your email. Because I know you.
But so eventually it was resolved on my part. But you see the light. I said to respond to each of the not yes, help them with this one. Johannesburg next time and repeats the same thing.
Yeah.
Steph wanted to be a bit more rough, but I had to deal with it diplomatically so that, at least everybody is left okay at the end of the day. But just for you, because I was going to bring it to your attention.
Yeah.
Maybe just go and have a word with this guy. Something was discussed here. So this is most definitely not the first instance. Because he was very sure of himself.
Yeah.
So he tells me that he's been doing this.
Okay.
Which is obviously not correct.
Okay. I'll speak to him. Guys, are there any other questions that you'd like to pose?
Can I just add on to what you said? You
Sure.
said we all receive Mr. Matheus's emails. Seeing that they are in the Western Cape, it's meant for the Western Cape and not for the Northern Cape. So my request would be, will you include us as maintenance investigators in the Northern Cape and the Eastern Cape, I would say?
I do get them.
You see, one person in the Eastern Cape, they have one. For communication purposes, just add us on the essays so that we can proofread and proofread ours as well to see
Yeah.
whether they link with yours and what you explained.
Yeah.
So that whenever we get something similar to what has been discussed, we can refer back to those ones
Yes.
and maybe give you a short email
Yes.
or a call or something. You people are very busy, I know.
Yeah.
Send an email today for next week's response.
Yeah.
Then we will work on those ones. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, not all of us get the emails from Mr. Raiders. I communicated with Mr. Raiders some 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You understand?
My apologies, I retract my statement.
Yeah.
Thank you very
In
much
terms of
for
that one.
retracting that and also retract the one that is.
Someone asked if those are not serious.
Do it for comments.
Ask if those are not serious.
Yeah. Guys, can I just say to you, those of you that would like me to include, I send almost every week something that I'm busy with to make sure that everyone in the Western Cape is abased. I included Clayton because I saw the passion that he has, and that's why he is part of it. But I don't want to overburden people that don't want to have that information. But if you want me to include it, because all the case law and all of it, I want to tell you about the group that I'm in. There's a WhatsApp group of a guy called Mervyn van Meulen. It's a group called Think Legal Family Law. If any of you want to be on the group, I'll send the link to you, and then you're going to be vetted first. But that man, every single day, then he discuss a family law case, maintenance case, and all of those kind of things. I do the same as what Donovan is doing. I just save it into a folder because it's too much to keep up with. And that's the only way we're going to keep abreast of what is happening as far as maintenance is concerned. And I comment a lot also on that group. But if there are any of that need, then please, we can deal with it. Mr. Jackson, that question about the other order or another court order, Section 235 of the Criminal Procedure Act says you can use the judicial proceedings of another case in that specific case. So if the order was made in Mitchell's Plain and you want to use it in Weinberg Court, then obviously just get a copy of the order. The order must just be certified by the clerk in Mitchell's Plain that that's original of that specific order. Then you can use it in Weinberg or wherever you are. But all of those type of things are we usually discuss in or whatever I feel is important that I'd like to share. I always share with the MOs, MIs, in the clerks in the Western Cape to make them aware. I'm doing a case now about adoption where I want to change the law, and that's what I always do, and that's why I did that written or verbal agreement, because I wanted to change and make sure, in the best interest of the child, I'm doing it. I know there is the application.
Sorry to break you with Advocate Regis. Should they come after my pension?
Should they come
I
out
will
there?
have to sue you to get
Yes.
my money back.
Yes. Whenever you are doing the things, or I believe in the best interest of a child, before that I was a sexual offences prosecutor, Section 54 of the Sexual Offences Act and Section 110 of the Children's Act says where you act in the best interest of the child and you act on whatever is being said by a child, there is no civil recourse. So let them come with civil recourse. I know how to deal with it in terms of the Children's Act, Section 110 and Section 54 of the Sexual Offences Act. That's if it's a sexual offence act. I'll apply that in the maintenance case. So sue me. I will then deal with it from there onwards. But if you have any of these type of things that you are struggling with, like Mr. Douse was struggling this morning to get a accused person that was arrested on a warrant from Plettenberg Bay to Oudtshoorn Court. It just takes me a few seconds, then I call the Western Cape Provincial Administration and Police Administration, and they are already on their way to make sure that that person from Plettenberg Bay is being sent to Oudtshoorn Court. Interprovincial arrest warrants is usually a problem. If you have any of those problems where the person is in Bloemfontein and have to come to Cape Town, then the Free State will only bring him to the border of the Free State, and then from there onwards the Western Cape. I've got good connections with the Western Cape Provincial Administration for the police to deal with those type of cases. So if any of you have a case where a MO or a court call you and tell you that, listen, this person have been arrested over here, he appeared in court, and now they need to do the transfer, the Section 74 transfer to the other province, then in all of those cases, involve me right from the beginning. Then I can make sure that all of those things are sorted out. Even if it's the Eastern Cape to the Western Cape, I've got the, not connections, I just have the email addresses, and then I will start setting all of that up. But none of us ever have to struggle with any of these things. If you have, please involve me. I like interacting. I'm just as passionate as Stefani about maintenance and children's issues. So that's why I always try to challenge the law and do things in order to make it better for our children.
I just want to add on to what you are saying, in support of what you are saying. Yes, sure, as a response from Steph. We are, for the most part, all attorneys, and we are advocates for the rights of the vulnerable groups, women and children, but specifically children, right? So we might not always agree in the practicality of the various things with the way we do things and how others do things. But if we can find common ground and understanding, mine is always to push for uniformity in the way in which we approach things. And our outcomes may differ because of the case-specific things. But what I always find is that the way somebody deals with a matter in Gauteng completely differs to why a matter is done in the Western Cape or the Eastern Cape. Western Cape and Eastern Cape, for the most part, are very close because I'm very active in the Eastern Cape. My colleagues will tell you if they are stuck, the first person they call is me. Then I'll say, this is what it is. If you want to confirm what I'm saying, just drop an email to Steph, CC me in. Myself and Steph will interact with that MO or MI, and then they will understand and go forward. Right? In the Western Cape, I'm part of your communication, so I see how active Sir is with you guys. So I see, many times I'll email him on the side to say, look,
Yes.
there was this thing here that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Then we understand each other.
Yeah.
So I understand where he's coming from and why he's pushing it, because if we don't push to change the law, it
Yeah.
will not change. Yet the intricacies of maintenance and people's day-to-day dynamics are ever evolving because of society. So it can't remain stagnant. So do those interactions, and he might be right, he might be wrong, but the intention is honorable. So
Yeah.
I support that.
Thank you. One more thing, if I can quickly just touch on it, the financial disclosures form. I'm trying to make it easier for maintenance investigators to do their work and not having to summon all 5 banks at all. When the Law Commission started with the uh, deliberations on the Maintenance Amendment Act that is going to be in Parliament hopefully next year, paper 157 specifically do not deal with the financial disclosures. There's a form that they use in Gauteng in the divorce courts. Whenever a case is going to go to the Gauteng divorce courts, they've got a FDF financial disclosures form. That form I developed and I changed it and made it now that whenever a person is applying for a reduction, then I want him to complete the financial disclosures form. But remember the maintenance officer direct proceedings. So I direct proceedings. The Law Commission showed an interest in the financial disclosures form that I have. I sent it to the Law Commission. The Law Commission is going to propose that it be part of the regulations. That is going to make our work as investigators so much easier because you've got everything, policies, the policy number, the account number, the credit card number, all of those things. I want to send that financial disclosures form to you, and then you can maybe start that process at your courts where you ask your MO, can't we use this form when there's a reduction application, or even if there's an increase application, then you've got all the information that you need at once of that person, and you don't have to struggle to now complete all of that admin for 5 banks that you have to do and all of it. It makes it so much easier. So as I say that the Professor Lenky de Jong at the Law Commission is interested in it, and I sent it to them. But it's going to take at least 18 to 24 months before we get to the Law Commission, and I don't want to wait. While we can make it easier for us now, then let's see if it can't work. Some of the courts in the Western Cape is already using the financial disclosures form, but some don't want to use it because it doesn't have a J number. That's why I'm going to the Law Commission and try and get it in that way. But I'll send it to you, look at it, and see if it's something that is viable for you. I'll send you the last one that I did 2 days ago, where where I tell the respondent, you complete the financial disclosures form. I want all of that. As a MO, I can direct and say, I want this. So we can do the same whenever we are dealing with these cases. Just to make our work easier, it's unnecessary that we sit with all of these admin and having to summon all 5 banks and all of these type of things that you have to do. Let's look for easier ways that we can deal with it. Sis Monica?
I guess maybe they will agree with me. What about in a case where, because they know this is that we are here to trace them.
Yeah.
What if he has hidden this financial information under his mistress or maybe whoever is related to him or not related to him? So what do we do?
Yeah.
If we are going to ask those people to devise that certain information and they hear everything, so what do we do that with them?
Yeah. For now, or what I usually say, or that I started to say in the Western Cape is, remember the Law Commission is dealing with some of it like trust. He's hiding it in a trust or whatever. There are chapters, and I think you need to read the Law Commission paper 157. If you read it, then you can see that they are addressing some of those challenges that we are having now. But it's going to take 18 to 24 months before we get there. So that's why I feel the FDF also deals with trust and all of those type of things, because right at the top of the financial disclosures form, I say in terms of Section 34, if you give any false information in here, then you're going to be prosecuted. The Gauteng divorce courts, they say that in a case where any of the information that is on that financial disclosures form is false, we're going to prosecute you for perjury. So why are we not doing the same? And it's such an innovative way of making sure that we don't have to do all of this running around with all of the documentation. So my short and sweet of it is, that wherever we find that they are hiding any of the information and it's not forthcoming, let us try and use the financial disclosures form. Ask the maintenance officer to give it to them to complete, because the maintenance officer can direct how he wants to deal with that case and what investigations he wants to do. I know some of the attorneys say, no, 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 we're not going to give that information. If they don't, then they are hampering, interrupting the proceedings. The Maintenance Act makes provision, therefore, that if there's any of your investigations that are being hampered or interrupted, then we prosecute them. I tell the attorneys, if you're going to come and bother into my investigations, I'll deal with you. And once they know that, they say, then they tell their client to give it. And that's how I deal with it. I'll put all of it, what I'm saying now, in writing, and then we can then start speaking about it, Martin, and then engage with one another and see how we can make it easier in the Northern Cape as well as on our side with the cases that we're dealing with. I'll get to you, Ashi.
But this is what happened with Brown's case, the one that you referred to.
Yeah.
Me. You know, everything was there, our report, our investigation report was there, but the magistrate decided to do the same road, asking both parties to submit their own financial information. I think maybe it was the same thing.
Yeah.
And remember, the report was there with money that was available at that moment.
Yeah.
The time the case was brought to court, all money that was there was gone.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Because I informed you that here's the money.
Yeah.
Let us utilize Section 26 to fix all this.
Yeah.
And then you wanted that information from both parties.
Yeah.
And can you see the...
What is the use of the investigation then?
What is the use?
Yeah. Okay. No, but in a case where we can show that from the time of the investigation, here's your investigation report, and then money was alienated, then obviously then we can prosecute based on the fact that, but then you need to help me and put in your report and say that my report indicated to X, Y, and Z. Then afterwards it was asked from the applicant and respondent to provide information that I already gave you. But if you listen to what I said at that time, this is what you could have done. Then we can prosecute based on the fact that during that period the money disappeared after you compiled your report. Simple. There's times.
That's not what's happening, and that quality is being set compared to post.
Yeah.
Even today.
Yes, I know. Well, but that's why I'm saying then we need to prosecute those type of matters in court. But sometimes the prosecutors do not want to. They will look at any way that they can.
Come to that.
Yeah.
Prosecutors don't want to go
Yes,
that road.
I know that, and even in the Western Cape, we're struggling with it. I know it, and I make no excuse of it. I'm not going to come and defend for them if they are not doing their work. Pashi?
And there was one of the grey areas also is that Department of Social Development and Department of Labour extracting information from the Department of Labour and Department of Social Development. Most of the prosecutors are requesting that although the respondent is showing he's got a disability card and it is a grant,
Yeah.
they still requesting from Department of Social Services a unity to confirm that and to show that and if we submit bank statements and everything, they're still requesting all that. It's prolonged.
Yeah.
Prolonging the matter on the court. Secondly, is the social development. There's no communication. They don't know the Maintenance Act per se. We have to every time we'd like interaction with the department and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To make it possible for us, in the near future.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. I don't have a problem with the Department of Education, but the SASSA Act says that we cannot attach any of the social grants. We do not have a right to it. But the SASSA Act says uninterrupted. So from the moment SASSA pay it over to his account uninterrupted, we can't interfere there. So we can never have SASSA as a second respondent in any civil attachment. But we can attach the bank account. There they can't stop us. So what I always tell them, SASSA payment is going into an account. We cannot have SASSA as a respondent The Act says it must be uninterrupted. So now we show that we don't interrupt while it goes into his account. Once it's in his bank account, I can't see why we can't then take it, because then it's in his own bank account. Then it's uninterrupted. He must have uninterrupted access to it. Once it's there, then I will attach, because then it's not involving
But
SASSA.
if you talk about attach, are you talking about a monthly basis that you pay over?
Yes, they obviously it's a Section 30 order. It's gonna be a Section 30 attachment of debt. It's due and payable to him every month. Once it's due and payable to him and it's in his account, not having SASSA as a respondent, why can't we do it? Or give me a case, let me go to court and let's deal with the case in
I
court.
actually have successfully concluded two working group examples. Um, so not SASSA per se, but the special pension,
Yeah,
which is paid from the President's Fund.
okay.
So the same rules applies to the special pension being included in an order as a second or third respondent.
Yeah,
So upon knowing that we don't have the authority to attach from special pension,
yeah.
I said to my prosecutor, no, it's fine. We'll wait for the money to come to the bank.
Yes.
Then we've given, in the two respective cases, we've given FNB legal and instruction and APSA legal and instruction
Yeah.
to pay on a month-to-month basis a specified amount determined by court
Yes.
to recover the full arrears.
Yeah. Excellent.
And both those cases worked successfully. So I don't see why you can't use it in that instance, especially where it's a-
Sorry, but who do you direct, who do you direct
So I'll put it into a case example. So applicant comes and says, the respondent gets money from the government employees pension fund. So now we send them a room EC to give us information with a return date. They said, look, the respondent doesn't receive a monthly payment in lieu of him having worked for the Department of Justice. He receives a monthly pension in terms of the special pension fund from the President's Fund. However, you can't attach that within the government employees pension administration.
Yeah.
But when the money leaves the administration to APSA Bank, FNB Standard, etc.,
Yeah.
that's where we get.
Yes.
So the groundwork is first to establish what is the nature of the funds that he's receiving,
Yeah.
and then where is he going to be paid to, on which dates, and then direct your order to the financial institution that's going to be administrating that side of
Yeah.
the process.
Can you send those two examples to us so that we can
I'll send that to you.
Yeah.
Just send me a reminder.
Yeah, I will send you a reminder. Gentlemen, if there's any of you that need to leave, then
I unfortunately have to leave.
yeah. So let's just close it formally. Thank you so much for your 30 days that you offered us from your office to somehow make your services better to the public. Thank you for your passion.
Now you met me in person, so you understand.
Now I know who I'm speaking to, as well as my colleagues on that side. Thank you so much for your passion and what you've shown over the last, and all the examples that came forth. It shows that there are challenges that you are sitting with, but you need to get some assistance. And please, my email address is always open. If any of you, I'm going to send you emails. If you want to stop it, just tell me. Please don't send me any, and I will stop. But whatever I know, I love sharing with anyone else. Have a safe time back to your court wherever you are stationed, and let's stay in contact with one another. Thank you, Sis Monica, for coming all the way from Pretoria. We really appreciate all your inputs every time that I see you. So thank you for being with us.
Small request to Mr. Bomani. Because you are coming from the national office, can't you speak to the relevant office, to the relevant official? We need someone, an ICMS guru, who can come and train us on ICMS.
Yeah, it is Justice College.
Not for the department to ask Zonago to come and train me.
Yeah, but it's Justice College's task. Yeah, they're the ones who are the gurus on ICMS.
Stephen. Mr.
Yeah, Stephen, yes, Stephen.
Fine, nice.
Can maybe just write an email to Stephen Kami.
Okay, our Western Cape officials, can we do that in one spirit? Okay. Because now you receive an email asking if Student Jam can do it, why can't you do it? Of which our offices, our challenges are different.
Just CC me as well so that to be able to arrange together.
Okay.
Because on ICMS, I understand that there's something like a whatever, where you need to capture, all these instructions, blah, 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 all those that I was talking about it. So, CC me and Mr. Mohammed as well. Right to Mr. Mohammed that they just visit my office. Thank you.
Natalie, there's one more question, guys, then we'll adjourn.
Just lost, I think it was yesterday morning, with the IBC program, you said that we have limited access, no? Some colleagues talk about, other tracing systems that give you the banking info, or it tells you where this person has a bank account or this account, but we don't get that. Is there a possibility of getting that? Because that would make investigations much more.
No, it depends on that, on the directors of that company, whether they devise that information with DTI. So if they're not, you won't be able to get that. Don't blame yourself, it's the people that's not there.
But like you said,
No,
the attorneys brings that in, like you said. The attorneys, I come with my ITC report. And one attorney came with her report, it's got ITC on there, including bank properties, everything, on this printout. It shows how many bank accounts and vehicle registrations as well.
Yeah.
On this, it's called search works.
No, that's it.
Let me tell you something.
Actually,
Let me say something.
Guys, the contract that the national office has entered into with the service provider, and during those 2004, 2005, the amendments that are there are not too much. Currently, we are looking in getting more suppliers in that regard. There was a big risk which was we tried was 2 to 3 years back. So our management, they keep on changing and not signing whatever. So at the moment, the contract that we have only speak about the whereabouts and financial information. We also try to engage Sabri, who could be able to give us all information that to say, look, this person's banking or this business banking with this particular bank. But it's like they're afraid to give us that information, but we are still working on that. Remember, it is still our duties to go out there. So we cannot expect the old contracts to give us everything right now. But we are aware of that. We are still working on that one. I don't know as to when, until when, but remember, the good news that we have a new director being established as a directory. Previously, it was only a sub-directory, but now it's a director.
Yeah.
We are still going to advertise post of TV directors. I mean, they also be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So we will get into that. We'll get into that.
I must just share. We've had many trainings with Monica over the years, and at one specific one that we had in the Eastern Cape, I think I was operating the system on the day, and it is available on ITC. You can see that information. It's just that kind of access, like an administrative access, you are limited in terms of your profile. What modules that information is on the back end of ITC. I've seen it. Monica might forget, but she came and did a presentation for us, and I was able to see that. Look, my eye is trying to look for certain things, and I picked it up. It's there, right? I understand why, in certain circumstances, they might not want to give us full-on access. For obvious reasons, people might abuse this, etc. So, let's just put forward a recommendation that, or a request that this is something that we need, and this is the reasons why. With ICMS now, right? I dislike it because it adds an administrative function to us, which they're trying to reduce us to something which we are not. But in every negative thing like that, I look for an opportunity. So what is the opportunity that I look for? Because now they've said within 90 days this thing must be concluded. I say, I'm saying 90 days. You give me the resources that I need in order to finish this. If I need to have access on ITC to more modules, you give it to me. Else, you don't expect this case to be concluded. Remember, this period which they are trying to hang over your head, something which they came up with. Yeah. It's something that they came up with, right? But in terms of maintenance law, there's nothing like that. So I just kind of tolerate them for the time being so that I can get what I want ultimately. I've got a new car. One of the things that I wanted, because my brakes failed on the old car 5 times and I was out of town. Luckily made it back to the office. I want other resources in place. I'm going to restructure the manner in which we do the things in the office based on their little introduction of ICMS. So I'm taking what they are giving and I'm expanding on it. So we need it. We definitely need it because it limits the unnecessities that we have to go through to gather information.
Our case flow has increased.
No, it has increased.
As investigators from where I started and where we now, our case flow, there's a huge influx in maintenance investigation. And that came as the greatest, if I look at it, after they took away the appointed maintenance prosecutors. That is when I saw there was an influx of working more for us. Why? Because we had prosecutors that are coming in that does not know maintenance.
Yes.
You know, everything, they get the file, they suppose, when I first went, we never had prosecutors reading the files. Now we have to say to the prosecutors, they have to read the files, they dish it out. There's a new prosecutor that's reading the file, they don't know how to read a maintenance file.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Because many a times, we'll see documentation on the file, previous employees, everything will be on the file. Now they'll tell you, subpoena bank records again for that period. Subpoena the previous employer. One from 1997. Some of the companies closed. We give them affidavits and say, can you establish proof of this company being closed? Go to the DTI. No, some of those companies are the registered. You understand? Unnecessary process that has to be done. Where we can narrow down our investigations fast and effective, knowing that this document is going to be substantiated in court and it's going to be relevant information.
Yeah.
You know, we need to fast track our
So I can tell you with confidence, ITC does have that. It's just we are limited and restricted.
So we need to fight the
But
The
there's
department
all
needs to pay, and I've been saying this, that the department needs to pay.
So Monica, that's why when you're director of
All products, if I can open it to you right now, you see that you are given all products. You are no longer limited. You are given all products. All products.
Okay.
You are no longer limited.
Unfortunately, guys, thanks for your hospitality.
Okay, thank you. Safe drive, Clayton.
Cheers.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Love and leave you.